If you've been confused on where to start, I'm giving you the exact order so you don't waste money and time. I'm going to give you the roadmap in order. I'll also tell you what not to buy yet. And save this video, you'll come back to it later. So, the number one step to become a loan signing agent, because they're two different things, is you're gonna get your notary commission, okay? And then your bond and the basics on how to become a notary. They have all these different tiers and everything on the website, okay? They're super friendly, they're amazing. And when you call them, they're awesome. I love the NNA, the National Notary Association. So if you're not in Florida, you would have to Google the Secretary of State from wherever you're from. And to my knowledge, they're all different. They all have different rules and regulations, so you have to check those things, those different rules and regulations from your state specific, okay? I'm only, I always say the NNA because that's where I got mine from, okay? And then they're going to require, number one, your commission and a background check, okay? That's very important. 99% of these companies that signing platforms, signing services, title companies, they require a background check to which you need to renew every single year, okay? And don't overcomplicate it. Is very easy, at least for the NNA. I just figured out how to become a notary to get my commission first, and then I went to how to become a loan signing agent. All right, they have it broken down pretty good. If you have any questions, you can call them directly and they'll walk you through the whole process. But it's very easy. And I believe it takes anywhere between 1 month to get all of that in order, squared away. It took me 2 months, however, because when I started and I got my notary commission was during COVID. So everything was delayed, and that's why it took me 2 months to get mine. But you're in luck because we're not in COVID anymore. Step number 2, training is very important, guys. So the NNA gives you open book training. They do train you, all right, on the rules of a notary, what you can and cannot notarize, and the loan signing agent, teeny training, I call it, because it's not the same thing as to an in-depth training of the actual documents. Myself, I paid an extra course outside of the NNA from a huge, coach that I was following for months, okay, on YouTube. And I bought the course, and by the time I went in there, everybody and their mother was in that course. And it was very overwhelming, but it was good. Nonetheless, I was able to get everything that I needed from it, and it taught me everything on the documents, the flow, the scan backs, and how to be professional. Like it's very in-depth, and yeah, I still have access to that course till today, and I think it's amazing. It's great. So please avoid hype-only trainings. Do your research, guys, and make sure you check the reviews, check the ratings, the prices. I honestly think that a lot of these courses and trainings are extremely expensive nowadays. When I bought mine, it was at a somewhat decent price, but it is what it is. Just do your research and go with the person that you feel comfortable with. And yeah, check reviews and ratings, okay? Don't get caught up on the hype, okay? And commit to studying. The course that I bought, I loved it because you basically go at your own pace, okay? Though it had so much information in it that every time I went into it, I felt really, really overwhelmed. Guys, I'm creating my course myself, my own loan signing agent course. And I'm trying my best to keep it as simple as possible. Like to only give you guys information that you actually need. Okay. And it's hard because when you're very passionate and you've been doing this, forever, as myself, and this is what I do from the day-to-day basis, I would love to give you guys every single detail, and tips and tricks and everything that I know, but those things take time. You know what I mean? I believe that simplicity is the best. I don't want to overwhelm you guys, so that's what I'm trying to focus on while creating my own course, is to keep things simple and straight to the point, basically. All right. And it's very important that you commit to studying. So the course that I bought was a self-paced course. And yeah, you finish it at your own leisure. And that's the one that I'm creating also. And that's something that you should look into and set aside at least 1 hour, 2 hours max a day, my opinion, to study the course, go over it, whichever course you choose to purchase, and yeah, take your time with it, okay? And step number 3, supplies. What you actually need versus what can wait, all right? So, number 1, you need a printer, you need a laptop, okay? A cell phone, obviously, to receive work. You're gonna need to communicate with borrowers or whatever, but I just have to throw that out there. And scanner versus a mobile scanner. My personal opinion. Signing services, title companies, whoever hires you, a lot of them are going to ask you, do you have a mobile scanner? It is crucial that you purchase a fast mobile scanner, okay? Meaning mobile is a scanner that you're going to carry with you in your car to do these signings. Every appointment that you go to, right after the appointment, they're going to require that you scan all of those documents within 2 hours, okay? Mind you, it's a lot of paperwork. A scanner app is not going to work with you screenshotting each page. If you're only doing 5 to 10 pages max, okay, you could use a scanner app, but you're not gonna sit there and screenshot 150 pages to 200 pages with your phone. That's not going to work. It's not very time efficient. You're not managing your time well. Not only that, but these signing services are going to fire you really quick because they need those scans for approval for funding, okay? So you need to invest in a mobile scanner, very important. Now, these things do cost some money. The actual dual tray printer, okay? I have all of this. I have a list of all of this linked below, guys. All the supplies that a loan signing agent needs, and you could buy them refurbished in Amazon. I think I bought my mobile scanner refurbished. I did buy the dual tray printer brand new because it was at a decent price, during COVID, even though they did start to get a little more expensive because everyone started working from home at that time, but I bought mine right before prices went crazy. But you can look for these refurbished, secondhand, Facebook Marketplace, go into notary communities on Facebook and ask, is any notary selling, such and such product, equipment, secondhand, and you could buy it for cheaper. Okay, so that is that. Get you a mobile scanner because you're gonna need it. You're not gonna go to a signing, do the signing, and then drive all the way back home to scan these documents. It's not gonna work. You need a folder system and check sheets. Okay, so basically you're going to need like folders to put all these documents in with like sticky tabs, a note tab. This is a refi at 5 o'clock. That's an example. That's how I do mine. Or you could get these folders for free. I get these folders, these envelopes from FedEx and UPS, the ones that are really nice. I asked them, hey, I'm a loan signing agent. Can I take a couple of these for free? Like, how many can you give me? And they give me like a handful of folders, And those are the exact folders that I use to go to my signing appointments. And then on the outside, I get a Sharpie. This is how I do it. I get a Sharpie, a black Sharpie, and I write refi at 6 p.m., seller at 9 a.m., HELOC at 2 p.m. That's what I do, okay? But everyone is going to have their own way of doing their own thing. So that's the folder system and check sheets, okay? And business basics, all right? You're going to need business cards. Whether you want to do it digitally or me, I'm old school. I do the old school business cards. I like to feel and see the actual business cards. Let me show you guys my newest one, which I think is really cool. Let me see. I don't think I have an old one here. I do recommend this digitally or physically, like mine, okay? I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's simple, okay? I do recommend that you put your picture so, you know, they could see you're a professional. I have my full name and I put bilingual loan signing agent because that's what I am, and that's, you know, an added credential, which is great. You know, a lot of these companies want to know if you're bilingual. My cell phone, my email, the city that I'm from, and then my website, okay? And back here, I have a scanning QR code, which I think it's great and it's awesome because they could scan this and give me a Google review. So I should be saying this on every single signing, but to be honest, guys, I forget. You know, hey, you know, would you be kind enough to give me a Google review? If you have 2 minutes, that would be great. If not, it's cool, you know. But I think that the more Google reviews that you get, the better, because that way when people research you, notary public in my area or whatever, loan signing in my area near me, you're going to be the first one that pops up because you have the most reviews and professional pictures, etc. Okay? So guys, business cards, digital or physical, and a simple email. Separate your business email from your personal email. That is very, very important. Making an email is free. If you don't know how to do it, ask ChatGPT or Google it, okay? I'm hoping that most of you know how to create a free email, but separate it from your business and your personal email. And you do not, I repeat, you do not need a website to start. You could get it later, okay? And you could even build your own website later. You don't have to worry about that now. So step number 4, get visible, okay, where signings come from. Signing platforms, okay? So these signing services are gonna start texting you, emailing you, calling you, you know, for these appointments, and the ones that are good for you to work for. All right, because some signing services are not good. All right, so remember the names, keep track, work with the ones that are not. Okay, when I don't like a signing service and they give me too many problems, because sometimes it happens, I ask them nicely and professionally, can you please remove me from your, you know, roster of notaries or whatever? And they remove me, you know, and that's okay because, you know, I don't want to work with them for whatever reason, okay? So get familiar with them, with the names, and the reviews are extremely important. Look up reviews. You would be surprised. All right, direct title relationship. So this is in the future. Once you get your feet wet, I always recommend, once you do about 12 signings when you start, you're good to go to start marketing to direct companies. Don't waste your time to doing more. You know, once you get the first 12 done or less, you're good. That's enough experience for you to go to title companies and market so they could pay you more and you could get paid quicker, okay? And consistency in applying and follow up. So what this is saying is you're going to continue to sign up for different signing services and platforms, okay? So I would make it a habit to signing up to 2 a day. If you want to be more aggressive about it, that's on you. You could do more. I just believe in consistency and not getting burnt out quickly, because I've done it before and it does not work out. Okay. That's the reason why I do my emailing marketing, and I promote myself basically on all, as many platforms as I can. And I only do it once a week, because if I do it every day, I'll get overwhelmed. All right. And in your downtime, if you're on slow days, that's when you do more, because it makes sense. You have nothing else to do, and you physically go and market to these title companies, or you do email marketing. All right. And the most important part out of this whole scenario, follow up. If you do not follow up with these title companies every 2 weeks or so, what's the point? They're gonna forget about you. Okay, so it's important that you follow up. You introduce yourself, you offer your services. Okay, they respond, they might not respond. In another 2 weeks, you follow up again. Okay, and so that way you're staying on top of mind. All right, in case they need you. Okay, you're not going to spam them and do this on a daily basis. All right, so step number 5, first signing readiness checklist. It's pretty simple. In the beginning, you're gonna want to say, okay, this is my confirmation script. I recommend you text it. I think texting is the best, and the best thing that they invented on earth. So I go into the platform that assigned me the job, and I copy paste their number. I go to my phone, and I already have for me to just fill in. Okay, so hi, my name is Valerie. I'm confirming such and such appointment for this day, this time, this address, for this type of signing, ? Okay, or there you tell them, and then once they say yes, I confirm, this is going to take about an hour. Make sure you have 2 valid IDs ready. Like, you let them know everything off the bat by text. Okay, if you are a talker and you want to call and do this, by all means, you can do that too, but I like to text. Okay, so have your confirmation script ready. That's 1. And then 2, your printing routine. Okay, everyone, once you start doing these more often, you're going to become familiar with how you work and what works for you, because what might work for you might not work for me. All right. For example, myself, if I have these documents ready the night before, the day before, I am printing them the night before for the next day. A lot of loan signing agents, I know a lot of them, they do not like to print documents from the day before. They like to print them the day of, which I think is crazy, because then you're rushing, and what if you have printing issues or etc. Worst case scenario, that's how I think. I think if I print a day in advance, it saves me time. That's just me. But everyone works different, okay? So some notaries say, well, I print the day of just in case they change the documents, they change the CD or whatever, so then you printed those pages for no reason. But that doesn't, 90% of the time, that doesn't happen. That happens in a very small percentage. So that's the reason why I decide to print the day before instead of the day of. So you're going to find, your own routine, okay? And then scan backs, same thing for scan backs. I like to do it. I've learned my lesson, guys, from experience. As soon as you're done with the appointment, in their parking lot, you're scanning these documents before you go to the next appointment. Even if you're running a bit late or whatever, you do not want to start your next appointment without you sending these scans to these title companies or the signing services, because they will be upset. And while you're in the other appointment, they're going to start sending you messages like, where are the documents? Where are the ETA on the docs? And you don't want to do that. You want to send it as soon as possible, okay? You finish the first job from beginning to the end. and then you go to the second job. That's my opinion. Okay. So drop off and shipping routine. Another thing, once you scan these documents, they review them, they approve them, you have green light to drop off these documents. Depending on what time the signing finished, you will probably make it to FedEx, okay, depending on the time again, for them to be able to ship the next day. A lot of these FedEx and UPS, they have a cutoff time, meaning the time that the carriers come to pick up overnight, express, whatever, to ship it so they can receive them, the next day. All right. So you need to know the cutoff time for all of these. I think the one by my house is before 5 o'clock, if I'm correct. So if I don't make it to them before 5 o'clock, those documents are not going to be received the next day. Okay. So every case is different. Nonetheless, you should know the cutoff times for all the FedEx and UPS in your area, because that's where you will be dropping off your documents. All right. And this is for shipping routines. Okay. And a lot of these signing services, when they hire you, or title companies, they might ask you, what is the cutoff time? All right. So you need to know this. Okay. Step number 6. First 30 to 90 days realistic plan. Study schedule. Yeah, so you should set up a plan. Okay, I'm starting this signing service. I'm becoming a loan signing agent. Let's say you're working a 9 to 5. You're going to say, okay, so when I get off of work, I'm going to study. I'm going to eat my dinner, relax. Once I eat my dinner, I'm going to start reviewing the course. And I'm going to study for an hour or 2 hours max. All right. And then you go about your day. But you should give yourself a realistic time frame. I think I did mine in a month, if I'm correct. I was like so eager and excited and desperate to finish that I did it as quickly as possible. Okay. And I don't even think I did, because I got my certification. I had to finish. I had to go through everything in the course to get my certificate. So I did. I couldn't skip to different things to get my certificate. But that's not the case for every course. Nonetheless, you should do it in order. Take your time with it and know what you're doing. So have a study schedule and an application schedule. Once you get your commission and your certification, then set aside time. Okay, now I'm going to start signing up for these signing platforms. So basically, they're going to ask for all your credentials for your certification, your bond, your background check, your errors and omission, everything that you need to be a loan signing agent and a notary public. They're going to ask you for these. So all of these need to be saved in a file in your laptop so you can upload them easily. Okay. It's like applying for a job. All right. And your income expectation realistically. Now, we know if you're starting part-time, which I recommend always. All right. Okay. Part-time, realistically, what am I going to make working for signing services? Signing services pay you less. Net 30. That needs to be top of mind. They pay you once a month. Okay. So if you do 1 to 2 signings every single day, that's 10, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So 10 signings. Let me get my calculator. So let's say they average $75 for signing services. This is an average, guys, because remember, seller documents, HELOCs, loan modifications, refinance, and purchase, they all pay you different. What most of these companies pay for a purchase signing service is $90 to $100. Refinance is the same, $90 to $100 if you're lucky, because sometimes they want to pay you $75 to $80. For seller documents, there's $75. Okay. HELOC, $65. Loan modifications, $30 to $65. It depends what the signing each signing service pays a different fee. Okay. So you have to add these up. So an average between 50 to 100, I'm putting 75. So let's say you do 10 signings in a week, 75 times 10. That's $750, give or take. Times 4, you're doing this in a month. That's $3,000 part-time. Now, if you only do one signing a day, it's half of that. 3,000 divided by 2, $1,500. Like, if you're working a full-time job and you could make $1,500 part-time, let's say $500 to $1,500 part-time a month. That is great, okay? But you have to do your calculations. This is my whole point. You have to calculate your income expectation realistically. If I'm doing this part-time, this is what I should be bringing home, which I think is great part-time income. Before I started, guys, I'm not going to get into detail, but I was driving Uber. I'm a single mom. I was working a corporate 9 to 5, okay? I have always had 2 jobs, okay, to make ends meet for myself and my kids. So that's how I stumbled across this business, guys. I Googled side hustle, and I read a bunch of other side hustles, but when I came across this one specifically, it caught my attention. I said, wow, this is something I can see myself doing. It will take some investment involved, but you get your return very, very quickly. Notaries are needed on the daily basis. There are real estate transactions happening every day. No matter if the economy is fluctuating, if it's high, if it's low, people are still buying, people are still selling, people are still doing refinances, people are doing loan modifications because they're struggling to pay their mortgage. It's here, guys. Real estate is not going anywhere. And guess who's doing all these transactions? A notary. So a notary is needed for everything. You will always have work, I promise you. And they're looking for us, okay? You don't have to literally like fight, to get work because a notary is always needed. So just, you have to start, do I want to do this part-time? Do I want to do this full-time? Everyone's situation is different, but that's initially it. That's the breakdown. If you want my checklist system and beginner guide, it's linked below. Okay, I created information, beginner's guide of notaries, and then I also made an ebook. I had so many people asking me, how do I get started? What do I do? It's a lot of steps, as you can see, and I have all the links, every single thing in my loan signing agent ultimate guide, my ebook. Everything is there. If you're interested, I will link it below. All right. So, yep, that is pretty much it, guys. And we got more to come from these series, okay? Now, next, I need you guys to watch the income video because I love talking about money. I know you guys love to hear it and I love to talk about it. So I'll break down real numbers and what actually increases your pay in 2026. We're gonna dive deep because I know I talked about it here, but in the next video, we're diving deep on numbers, okay? So thank you guys. If you made it this far, can you type below with a heart emoji? And I'll know that you watched till the end. But thank you. Catch you on the next video. Bye.